Good evening. I'm going to be calling this meeting to order at 5:30 p.m. Moving on to item 1B, roll call and introductions. Ms. Ansel, would you please take roll?
Yes. President Guadalupe Gilpaz Barrera, Trustee Area 4. Vice President Beatriz Perez, Trustee Area 1. Clerk Leticia Garcia, Trustee Area 3.
Present.
Trustee Robert Ocampo, Area 2.
Present.
Trustee Jesus Velasquez, Area 5. So we have two trustees that are absent, 3 present. And then with us today in cabinet is Mr. Abbasi, Dr. Fernandez, Mr. Diaz, and then our Senior Executive Assistant, Ms. Sofia Ramirez.
Thank you. Moving on to item 1C, the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Velasquez, can you please read us, say the Pledge of Allegiance, lead us in the pledge?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item 1D, Spotlight. This is an opportunity to feature up to 3-minute presentation on the positive things that are taking place throughout the district. Do we have any spotlights? Okay, we have no spotlights today. Thank you. We're moving on to item 1E, action item, adoption of the agenda. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
So move.
Mr. Ocampo, seconded by Mr. Velasquez. Comments or questions? I'm going to call for the vote. Please raise your hand. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. 3-0. With 2 absent. Item 2, public comment concerning items on the open session agenda and/or non-agenda items guidelines. There will be a 2-minute limit for individuals and a 20-minute limit on total public comments. There is no ceding of one's time to other individuals. Item 2A, individuals wishing to address the Board of Trustees on open session agenda items and/or other items may do so at this time. Starting time is 5:32.
Ms. Brittany Hernandez.
Ms. Ansel has been stalking me on social media and admitted to in front of Ms. Fernandez of her conduct. This is a form of intimidation to keep me silent, and I'm scared for my family. I have formally called on the board trustees to conduct a deep and independent investigation into the circumstances surrounding the removal of Mr. Porras and any personal or professional relationship that may have influenced in that decision. There are serious concerns circulating throughout the community regarding relationships between district leader and neighbor districts. These concerns cannot simply be ignored, dismissed, and the public deserves transparency, accountability, and answers. What many parents cannot understand is how a board member could support the removal of a principal without providing documentation, concerns, a meaningful evaluation process, or any clear explanation of the families being affected. If the goal was truly the success of Frank Paul Elementary, why wasn't an effort to work with Mr. Porras, the staff, the parents, before removing him? Every vote and every decision will be remembered. Instead of standing with students, families, and the community, many parents believe that you have chosen to protect the district leadership at all costs. Power and titles are temporary. Integrity is not. The decisions you make today will follow you after you leave your positions. And I was disgusted today with the Trustee Perez speech at the Frank Paul promotion. Our students deserve inspirational encouragement and a message worth of their achievement. Instead, they received a speech that appeared unprepared, lack of substance, and failed to honor the significance of the occasion. Frank Paul students deserve better. My 5-year-old would have done a better job. Our students deserve leadership to inspire them and advocate for them. It is not you, Ms. Ansel. Step down.
Ms. Clemente. Good evening, everyone. My name is Maribel Clemente, and I am a parent of two girls which attend Franco Elementary School. I wanted to start with a quote I read, which states the following: "Bad decisions always come with consequences. We are free to make our own choices, but we are never free from the consequences of those choices." Mrs. Sansel, you are appointed superintendent for a year, and within that year, you have accomplished great chaos in this district. With your politics and unjust decisions, you have made the district and the community break apart. Taking a 2% raise while other staff members in various schools are being terminated due to a lack of funds only proves you are here for the money and the power and not for our children. Demanding, Mr. Porras, a smooth transition in company of Mrs. Fernandez only made the community more upset and to raise in unity. Board members, you were given plenty of opportunities were given to rectify your error, but you only refused to do so. Now, since Mrs. Guadalupe Gilpas, President of Trustees, was not able to join us today, it's unfortunate because we are here to serve her, but the proper steps will be taken in order to send it via certified mail. The community deserves better representatives, and unfortunately, you are not it.
Señora Rubio.
Buenas tardes. Lo voy a hacer en español porque no están funcionando lo de la traducción. Buenas tardes, miembros de la mesa directiva y toda mi comunidad aquí presente. Estamos aquí para seguir pidiendo sobre la decisión que han hecho con nuestro director, el señor Miguel Porras, ya que hemos hablado con 3 miembros de la mesa directiva y hemos tenido 3 reuniones en persona con la superintendente y con la doctora Fernández, donde les hemos pedido que trabajemos juntos como equipo. Ahora bien, hemos abogado que se reevalúe la situación del señor Miguel Porras y que nuestros miembros de la mesa directiva no se dejen llevar por lo que les presenta la superintendente y tomen decisiones sin estar seguros de lo que están firmando, ya que estos hechos nos han llevado a esta dicha situación con nuestro director, el señor Miguel Porras. Ahora bien, la superintendente Mónica Anso y la doctora Fernández tuvieron el día 22 de mayo una reunión con nuestro director, el señor Porras, mismos que queremos que ellas mismas hagan este diálogo con ustedes en puerta cerrada hoy mismo, si es posible, sobre el tema que fueron a tratar con él, porque ellas iban a ser la voz de nosotros los padres, pero al contrario, esa reunión que tuvieron con él solo fue una reunión de cortesía, donde no duraron más de 5 minutos. Solo les pedimos a nuestros miembros de la mesa directiva que se reevalúe esta situación, ya que vamos a seguir luchando por lo que queremos que nuestro director, el señor Miguel Porras. Muchas gracias.
Señora Andrade. Un minuto, por favor, va a traducir.
Good afternoon, Board of Trustees and Superintendent Anso and community members. We are here present, continuing to fight over the decision that has been made of our principal, Mr. Miguel Porras. We have since have 3 different meetings with, including with Dr. Fernandez, with 3 different members of the board, in which we continue to ask that you work with us as a team, since work with us as a team. And we know that you had a meeting, Ms. Anso, with Dr. Fernandez on May 22nd with Mr. Porras, but we understand that this was just a courtesy meeting that took no longer than 5 minutes. We asked that you discuss this decision in the closed session regarding Mr. Porras and the topic at hand, because we will be continuing to fight, and we fight over the decision that was made, and we ask that you continue to reevaluate and look back, reevaluate your decision, and we will keep fighting for Mr. Porras. Thank you.
Señora Andrade.
Buenas tardes. Aquí estamos nuevamente como comunidad de Fran Paul haciendo saber nuestras inquietudes nuestras preocupaciones. Hemos tenido diversas reuniones con la señora Anso, con la doctora Fernández, con algunos miembros de la mesa directiva. Me preocupa el hecho de que no estén todos, ¿verdad?, en una junta tan importante en el último ciclo de año. Pero más que nada, hemos hablado muchísima gente sobre el querer a nuestro director, el que nos preocupa que no lo vamos a tener, nos preocupa mucho que no nos escucharon. Y sobre todo tengo una preocupación muy grande que como mesa directiva quisiera que lo tomaran en cuenta, comunidad presente, comunidad que nos van a estar escuchando en las redes sociales, en donde se queda grabada, ¿verdad? El día 15 en específico nos reunimos con la señora de Anso, con la doctora Fernández, en donde estábamos tratando de mantener un diálogo para que trabajáramos juntos como comunidad y mesa directiva, en donde le propusimos el tener una reunión con el señor Porras, tratar temas que le fueron afectados a él y tratar de ver una solución. Fue para mí muy decepcionante saber si se llevó a cabo esa reunión, pero no con los acuerdos que habíamos quedado, ¿verdad? Y me preocupa mucho que como comunidad, ¿qué podemos esperar? Todas las publicaciones, todas las promesas, todo lo que están haciendo, no hay confianza, porque me demostraron que estas dos mujeres no tienen palabra, porque hicieron una promesa y no la cumplieron. Al cabo, el tema fue totalmente diferente a lo que habíamos prometido, lo que habíamos acordado. Es muy preocupante tener a miembros que no se puede confiar. Gracias.
Good afternoon. I am here to represent Frank Paul and our grievances and concerns. Board members we've had different meetings with different board members, including Dr. Fernandez. And not all members of the board are present today, which is a little concerning. We are worried about our principal because he will not be there. We feel like we have not been heard. We're worried that we haven't been heard. But with the community present on social media and we have also had a meeting on May 15th with Dr. Fernandez and Ms. Anzo, in which we asked that there is a dialogue between both parents and members of the board. We asked for a meeting with Mr. Porras, in which we were disappointed that it was so short. We wanted to come up with a solution having this meeting, and it did not go accordingly. We expect that two of the women, Dr. Fernandez and Ms. Anzo, to keep their promise, but they didn't keep their word, and we feel like the members are not trusted at this time.
Valerie Cruz.
Buenas tardes a cada uno de ustedes, miembros de la mesa directiva. Yo quiero empezar con una pregunta. Si ya hemos expresado todas las cosas buenas que ha hecho nuestro director Miguel Porras, ¿por qué razón no se ha tomado en cuenta nuestra opinión? Si ustedes mismos dicen que los padres estudiantes tenemos derecho a expresar lo que queremos, por favor piénsenlo y tomen en cuenta nuestra opinión. Muchas gracias por escucharnos. Hoy también fue un día muy especial porque todos los estudiantes de sexto se promovieron y Mr. Miguel Porras lo hizo especial para nosotros. Nos ayudó mucho y siempre estuvo ahí para nosotros desde que nosotros hemos estado en kinder. Muchas gracias.
Good afternoon to each and one of you members of the board. I would like to begin with a question. If we have already expressed our grievances and everything that has happened with our principal, Miguel Porras, what is the reason that we have not been taken into consideration, our opinions, if you have outright told us to express our opinions. The parents have mentioned, and students, that we have a right to express our opinions, and what we want is to please think about your decision and take into account our opinions. Thank you so much for listening to us. And today was a very special day because today the students of sixth grade had a sixth grade promotion in which Mr. Porras had made this a very special event for us and has helped us and has always helped us and has always been there for us. Thank you.
Okay, I will be ending this open session, agenda item, at 5:45, sorry about that, 5:45 PM. Okay, so moving on to item 2B, association comments, Al South Teachers Association. Is there anybody here from that? Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, Cabinet, and AUSD community. Today was the last day of the 2025-2026 school year. It was a year of growth, challenges, and everything in between. As a tired teacher, along with my colleagues, we're ready for a break. I'm happy to announce that yesterday, ATA and AUSD reached a tentative agreement on the 2025-2026 contract. In August, ATA will be having a general meeting with members to discuss the tentative agreement, and then hold an election afterwards. I would like to thank our negotiators, Ana Castillo, Chair, Rosana Barajas, Eva Diaz Bravo, Travis Jones, Bethany Gilato, and Carolina Avila. Thank you.
California School Employees Association, Chapter 577. Is there anybody here from that? Nope. Okay, how about United Substitute Teachers Union? No. Okay, moving on to item 3, recognitions. A, recognition of honors and awards, acknowledgement of personnel who are retiring.
Okay. So we believe we have one person that's in the audience that will be retiring, and we have, but I don't know if I saw her come in. Ms. Rose, are you here? Okay, all right. So I'm going to be reading off the names. There's some other people that couldn't join us. As you heard, it was the last day of school, so teachers are tired, and but I will read off their name anyway because many of them have served us for many years. First teacher is Olivia Jimenez, resource teacher at Dr. Martin Luther King. Janice Rose, resource teacher at Virginia Rooker Barton Elementary. So Ms. Rose, if you can come up. Ms. Rose, you can come up and we'll give you your award, your recognition. Here, and then we can go take a picture with her. Is it just you? Yeah, she's the only one here, yes. And then I'll read it. Then we have recent classroom teachers also that retired and have taken kindergarten teacher also at Virginia Rooker Barton. Nancy Rodriguez, a 5th grade teacher at also at Virginia Rooker Barton. And then Aida Estrada, 3rd grade at
Let's give them a round of applause for the retirement. Thank you so much for all your service. Okay, moving on, is that, it? We're done, right, with the clerk? Okay, moving on to item 4, presentations. A, department presentation, local control accountability, LCAP, Deputy Superintendent Dr. Clara Fernandez, and Director of Leadership Development, Mary Beal.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, Cabinet members, and our Alisal community. Thank you. So my name is Dr. Clara Fernandez, and with me is Ms. Beal, Director of Leadership Development. And it is a pleasure tonight to be able to present to our community our LCAP annual review and also our LCAP public hearing, which will be taking place later throughout our meeting. So the purpose and agenda. So here we have 5 different points. The first point that we'll be reviewing is the annual review and dashboard highlights, which all of these different areas are part of what we need to cover for this review. The second piece of this will provide you information in regards to stakeholder engagement. Our meetings took place between February and May of 2026. So this is a big piece that we wanted to ensure that as many stakeholders as possible were able to provide their input and suggestions as we close our 3-year LCAP review, as well as pivot into our new LCAP for the next few years. Then we also have our proposed 2026-27 LCAP goals and actions. And with that, we will have our budget alignment and targeted numbers. And then we'll have our next steps in regards to how we're going to proceed with our LCAP.
All right. Good evening. Tonight, in a little bit, we'll review the budget, but what we want to talk a little bit about is how we use those dollars. So every dollar of supplemental and concentration funding is allocated to increasing or improving services for our highest need students. As we reviewed our dashboard and local data earlier this year, we saw both successes and areas that required continued attention. Strengths we discussed were green in our suspension rates, positive growth in science performance, and growth in ELA and math among many student groups. Preliminary data for 25-26 is showing increases in our English learner progress indicator, as well as gains in ELA and math targeted around 5th grade. Areas that continue needing focus are ones that we've discussed before. English language arts, math, chronic absenteeism, and the English learner progress indicator, which remains our most significant challenge as we seek to bring steady and consistent growth to our English learners. So Dr. Fernandez mentioned we had stakeholder agreement opportunities throughout this school year to give feedback on our 25-26 actions and to inform our 26-27 year 3 LCAP. A key requirement is this meaningful consultation with our educational partners. So we consulted, surveyed, and met with teachers, administrators, classified staff, parents, students, ELACs, DLACs, parent advisories, special education stakeholders, bargaining units, and community partners. More than 2,100 students, 380 staff members, and 650 parents participated in feedback. Several consistent themes emerged. Needs for increased academic intervention and learning recovery support, stronger English learner services, expanded social, emotional, and behavioral supports, improved family communication and engagement, and continued professional learning for staff. This feedback directly informed our goals, actions, and budgets that we'll continue to discuss this evening. So some of those key highlights include, with our parent advisory committees, they emphasized the need to continue addressing unfinished learning. They requested expanded targeted interventions to ensure students receive timely support when they struggle. Families also highlighted the importance of strengthening our social, emotional, and behavioral services, knowing that student wellness is the foundation of academic success. Another consistent message was the desire for stronger communication between schools and families regarding student progress and available reports. The district response to this in our 26-27 LCAP includes refining goals 1 and 3 to strengthen our MTSS framework, incorporating more precise data cycles, and expanding the implementation of VITAL. To address social, emotional, and academic support needs, we maintained the MTSS SST personnel as well as community school coordinators. These positions serve as critical connections between school and families, helping ensure students receive coordinated support both inside and outside the classroom. Through these refinements, we're not adding new initiatives, but rather strengthening and sharpening existing systems to better meet student and family needs. When working with our DLAC and looking at recommendations for student success on LPAC, parents expressed concern over some earning red performance levels on the California dashboard for English language proficiency. Families emphasized the need for stronger support in integrated ELD and designated ELD instruction to accelerate language development and called for increased access to bilingual resources and culturally responsive teaching practices to honor students' linguistic and cultural needs and assets. In response, we strengthened Goal 2 by intentionally integrating our California ELD standards across instructional planning and implementation. This integration ensures language development is not isolated, but embedded in daily instruction. We also committed to district-wide professional learning that equips teachers with strategies to develop academic language and effectively implement gradual release of responsibility model. These efforts are designed to improve access to rigorous grade-level content while accelerating English language acquisition for all of our multilingual learners.
And again, based on stakeholder input and feedback, we want to ensure that we are incorporating this feedback into our proposed 2026-27 LCAP goals, which you have here present. The first goal is that strong focus on student achievement, rigorous academic learning, and Tier 1 MTSS focus, followed by Goal 2, success of all English learners. We know this is a grand area of need for our district, so we want to ensure that we continue to support that as much as possible. So with that, providing support for language acquisition. Goal 3, high quality personnel, hiring and retaining superior staff. Goal 4, safe schools, clean, safe learning environments, nurturing potential. And lastly, our Goal 5, early learning literacy, ensuring foundational literacy skills for our youngest learners. So from engagement to action. Upon identifying the needs based again on community feedback and input, our next targeted actions are as follows. So the first need is our ELA math GL indicator or LP indicator as well. So how do we take this into our next goals? Partnership, these are the things that the support that's being provided and will continue. That partnership with WestEd Vital, expanding to our 12 schools, strengthening the 6-step phonics lesson plan, and designated integrated ELD instruction. Another area of identified need is the rise in cost referrals and need for Tier 1 social emotional supports. In response, we will embed MTSS SST structures and maintain dedicated social workers. As well, we notice a continued reduction of chronic absenteeism, yet still needing to support in that area. As such, community school coordinators at the 12 school sites will continue to connect with families along with resources and strengthening the whole child wellness. So increase or improve services. This is who we are as a district. 93.1% of our students are socially, economically disadvantaged. Almost 62% of our students are English learners. Close to 15% are McKinney-Vento students, and 10% of our students receive special education. Based on our needs, who we are as a district, and who we are serving, we have targeted intentionality behind our funding. From our supplement and concentration grant allocation, again, in support of the identified needs, we have $34,680,923 allocated. And in addition to that, we also have our Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant as additional funding in support of our LCFF actions with a total allocation of $2,117,500. So here you can see a breakdown from our previous adopted LCAP from 25-26 based on a breakdown for each of the goals and then the proposed goals, and you will notice some variance as well. A reminder that supplemental fundings are being provided through our Learning Recovery Grant to be able to make up for that difference. And really the intentionality is that reallocation of funds to ensure that we're really tapping into the identified needs. So in specificity to the learning recovery alignment, here again, you have a breakdown based on our 4 different goals and the proposed amounts that would be, again, funded out of this learning recovery grant for a total of $2,117,500. Where again, how do we reallocate our funds to ensure that we're really tapping into the needs to be able to provide and meet the needs of all of our students, provide the supports necessary, not only in the academic areas, but also the social emotional learning and wellness supports, while also ensuring that we are providing every type of funding possible to ensure that we're meeting, again, our students, and with that also increasing our parental engagement in support of student learning.
So in summary, it's like a living canopy. Every single action that we have taken for reviewing the 25-26 LCAP and developing 26-27 LCAP are intertwined actions and services from people all around. So the roots represent the foundation of all of our decisions. For the 26-27 LCAP, that's 3,200 voices, committees, feedback, dashboard data, and identified student needs. The voices guided our priorities and investments. The trunk represents the money, the supplemental and concentration grant dollars being spent, and the investment that supports the actions and services that directly impact our students. The branches support our board goals, providing direction and alignment for all of our district efforts and our key investments. Tier 1 MTSS support, community coordinators, social workers, Wested Vital Partnerships, and enrichment support. The Living Canopy illustrates how community input, strategic funding, and aligned actions work together to create the conditions for every student to grow and succeed. So later this evening, we will open up to public hearing for the 26-27 LCAP. We welcome comments, questions, recommendations, and feedback from our community and educational partners. All input received tonight will be reviewed and considered prior to the board's adoption of the LCAP and district budget later this month. So we want to thank our students, families, staff, advisory committees, bargaining units, and community members for their partnership throughout this entire process. Together, we continue our commitment to ensuring equity, access, and success for every student in LSL.
And also just a reminder that there is an attachment as well with the breakdown of each of the goals, but also each of the actions under each of those goals for your review as you would like to see those. But again, the intentionality behind our LCAP is to ensure that we're meeting our students where we need to meet them and to provide as many supports as possible. And as such, making sure that we are aligning our funding to those needs. Thank you.
I'm going to start up with Mr. Ocampo. Do you have any questions or comments?
Yeah, no, I mean, the goals, they make sense, right? You know, how can you say that they're not good goals? They're all great goals, you know, success of English learners, safe schools, student achievement, high quality personnel, early learning literacy. Are these all of the goals that are in the LCAP, or are there more goals? I thought there were more goals than just 5.
We have 5 goals. We had one related to AVA and actions related, but that closed. So we maintain 5 goals in our 3-year LCAP cycle, and then there's a multitude of actions underneath each one. So I think goal 1 has 20 actions. It says on your document, 20 actions. Goal 2, so it makes it longer when you look at the entire document, but 5 broad goals.
Okay, so we'll see the actions at a later report, I imagine.
They're listed.
They're listed for you in the form.
Oh, they are listed. Okay. I was curious about the ELs, which is something like 60%, I think, of our students are ELs. Huge. Oh, and that social economic, what was it, 80 or 90%?
I'd have to go back. I think it was 93.
Is there anybody who's not socially economically disadvantaged? Boy, that's something. I don't like the disadvantaged term. I'd rather say socially economically challenged. And I've been trying to get people to change the wording, but no one's listening to me. But anyway, yeah, the disadvantage is kind of like to me, it's a negative. Let's not dwell on negatives. Let's just say socioeconomically challenged.
Hopefully, when we write our next 3-year LCAP,
Yeah.
we can do that. We'll have to talk to the state.
That would be great. I mean, I think because it's important how we say things, and the words that we use are important. And I'm really against anything that couches things in a negative way. And I'm sure there's always ways to couch things in a positive way. And I'm all for that. I'm all for using words that are more positive, more encouraging. It's like instead of saying someone is disadvantaged, they're not disadvantaged. They're challenged. Anyway, that's just my personal thing. The other thing, and hopefully it'll become your personal thing. I don't know. The other thing is the ELs. Curious, what is working and what needs improvement in your opinion?
Consistency. So we have talked a lot about language. I know that's a conversation in ed services often about having the foundation of language being in part of everything that we teach. Looking into 26, 27, it was really being intentional about language in professional learning for our teachers, and to really understand how we can bring that in an innovative way to engage students in that learning. We know that we have work to do in integrated and designated ELD across our district. We have pockets of where it's very strong and we have areas of need. So about tapping into those that are strong to spread that practice throughout the entire district.
So integrated ELD would be using like a vocabulary word in different disciplines, I'm assuming. Something to that effect? Or?
No, it's different than that. So integrated is within their day. Designated is a special time, like they have a required minute of designated ELT time that is focused on that English language development learning. So vocabulary would be throughout the day. That would be an example of having it embedded. Designated is when they're being, that lesson is being targeted only to those English learners in that time.
And I guess it's really so important, because, and not saying that it's necessarily a negative, but when you look at our community, because I live on the east side, right? And when you look at our community on the east side, Spanish is everywhere. I walk into the restaurants and everyone's speaking Spanish. I walk into stores, everyone's speaking Spanish. TV, radio, people are doing the Spanish. So, the teaching of English then here at the school becomes so very important because they get so much reinforcement for the Spanish out there, and it's what we do here then becomes even more important because this is sort of like our island of English instruction, where we get them and hopefully we can convince them that English is not a bad language, that it's worth learning, because they have so much of that Spanish exposure out in the community. And again, that's not a bad thing. I'm comfortable. Of course, I speak Spanish, so I'm comfortable. But I imagine someone coming to the east side that doesn't speak Spanish might wonder what's going on here. But anyway, so thank you then. Thank you.
Mr. Velasquez, comments or questions?
Yeah, some of the expenses in terms of the variance can be related to the to the learning recovery block, making that difference. And then in terms of your specific question for that variance, some of the expenses related to personnel decrease to some extent. So therefore, there was some reallocation of funding. For the entire school district, correct.
Okay, so you talked a lot about Wested Vital. Where's Wested Vital on here? Or does it appear? How does that work? How much are we paying Wested Vital? And can you just talk to me a little bit about Wested Vital? Am I missing it or maybe it's under a different?
This one.
He's looking at the budget. So Vital is a partnership that we have with West Ed. We started 2 years ago. I have to think of the math on this. So 2 years ago, we're going into year 3. And it is a partnership that we started with 4 schools. We brought in an additional 4 last year, and we're bringing in the final 4 this year. And it is visibly
Visibly improving
There you go, thank
teaching and
you.
learning. And so it should be in the goal 1,
Both one.
under
The professional learning.
professional development for all certificated staff. So that's where most of the money is coming from. And
Professional, number 1.7?
1.7, yes, that action. So this, what you just have right now is a little summary of the actions. The LCAP actually has the whole action. When we had red indicators, we had to call out that change. So the state at the beginning of this 3-year plan said, if you have red indicators on the dashboard, you have to do something different and you have to call it out in your LCAP. And so Vital was that the consulting came, we partnered up with them. And what it is it's protocols to improve the PLC. So the protocol when they are addressing or planning the standard, it's the protocols that teachers have. So they look at a lesson, they analyze the standard, look at the lesson, fine tune the lesson. They actually see each other teach the lesson, and then they readjust and give the feedback. And so that protocol is how the teachers plan in their PLC. So our goal was to strengthen Tier 1 instruction through the planning of the teachers.
Thank you. Okay. So, and so then more or less, item 1.7 says it's 446,624. But is that all of West Ed Vital, or is that just, does it take other?
There's an additional allocation through learning recovery of 355,000.
So like their total's like about 800,000,
Yes.
but for a 1-year contract or 2-year contract? Or the whole thing?
It's a 1-year contract.
So 1 year for all 12 schools. So what they do is they meet with ILT one day, the next day, then they coach the grade levels.
Mhm.
And when they meet with the ILT, with the instructional leadership team, they're training the facilitators. So there's one person from each grade level on how to use those protocols throughout their planning. The following day, they meet with grade levels and they coach them through those same protocols.
And it's a phase out plan. West Ed's intention is to phase themselves out.
Okay, and like, have we ever like really done an analysis of what really works? I mean, to be fair, I mean, sometimes like, I'm just gonna finish and then Monica, you can jump in. Like Storm, like I've been up here for like 6 years and every year we have, we go ahead and approve Storm. And Storm's the writing piece, right? And not all the schools have it, only certain ones. I mean, have we ever really done an analysis to see whether or not Storm is working at those sites, or are we just paying them because I mean, we haven't found anything else that can do what they do or help the students? I'm curious because I know it takes time. Like I've actually done an analysis for a program that I worked for, and it took me a long time because I had to figure out, okay, who showed up? How was their attendance? How did they do on the LPAC? How did they do on CASP? If there was any changes from one year to the next, and maybe this was only one intervention that they did, but maybe they had others. But at least I knew that because they attended this intervention 80% of the time, they grew, or they didn't grow, whatever data showed me. But do we ever do any type of analysis like that gives us really concise data that helps us make these informed decisions on where to spend our money?
So yes.
Oh, yay.
So-
The answer's there. Thank you.
So back in November, after my 100 days, I presented my findings. And one of my recommendations at that point was to have a baseline study with Orenda. At that point we have to either go West Ed or we had Orenda. We decided to go with Orenda. The baseline study, the reveal happened, I believe, the May 14th. We met with them, but they have met with our principals, our directors, our union partners. And then tomorrow, if you're still available, we've been sending, we still have slots for board members. And the person we're working with also has created a video. So he has the slides and he's recorded a video. In case you can't attend, we will share that video. But there are some findings, and I can tell you the number one thing is alignment. And I think what you were alluding to right now with STORM and some schools not having it is that piece that's missing is that alignment. So I can share more. I know that Mr. Ocampo, I think, has signed up to be there tomorrow, and Ms. Perez. And I know that it's in the middle of the day, so it doesn't fit everyone's schedule. So Scott is the consultant we're working with through Renda. He will be, or has created a video of the slide deck and the findings, and we can review them on, I can make sure you have that so you can review it. But yes, that's why we did that study.
Okay, thank you. That was a perfect segue, huh? Okay, but no, thank you. I'm just curious, you didn't get any pushback for the 6-step phonics lesson plan from the teachers?
Well, it's embedded in there as part of something that the EL specialists work through ELD to support, so no.
Uh-huh, wow, wonderful. Well, thank you for that. And if there's any other comments or questions, we're going to move on to our next item. Thank you so much for this presentation. It was well
welcome.
done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item 4B, Department Presentation 2026-2027 Budget, Associate Superintendent of Business Services, Rais Obasi, and Director of Fiscal Services, Elaine Mendoza. Look at how quick you got there. Even I looked up and you're already sitting down. Thank you.
Yes, we're ready. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Cabinet, and community members. My name is Elaine Mendoza, Director of Fiscal Services, and I'm here with Mr. Arbasi, Associate Superintendent of Business Services. And tonight, we're going to present to you our preliminary budget report for 2026-27. Okay. According to Ed Code, on or before July 1st of each year, the governing board of each school district shall accomplish the following. 1 is to hold a public hearing on the budget to be adopted. 2, adopt the budget. And 3, file the budget with the county superintendent of schools. Before we look at what the budget is for what it's going to look like for next year, we will begin by looking at a comparison at each of the reporting periods for 2025-26. So we have the adopted budget, first interim, second interim, and estimated actual. So the slide shows the balances for general fund, and it's a combination of the unrestricted and restricted funds. The last column shows our estimated actual balance for 2025-26. This represents the projected financial totals for the current fiscal year. To break down the previous slide a little bit more, the general fund is made up of unrestricted and restricted funds. So the slide shows the balance breakdown of the 2 different funds we have. The total revenue is $173.3 million. The expenditures is $190.6 million. After factoring in the contributions and the beginning fund balance, we are estimating our ending fund balance to be $92.3 million. And this leaves our reserves at $19.1 million. So now we'll look at the 26-27 proposed budget. So staff attended the Governor's May workshop, revised workshop, and we make revenue assumptions based on the information we received at the time. For enrollment, we are estimating at 6,841. The average daily attendance is 6,724. Our cost of living adjustment for this upcoming year is 2.87%. And the unduplicated count of students eligible for the supplemental grant is 94.77%. The revenues remain flat for now, so it's not growing or decreasing. For state revenues, the lottery fund is projected at $272 per student, which equates to about 1.9 million. Our COLA for a special education program is 2.87, and mandated programs is 0.26 million. For local revenues, the local donations are included, but based on historical trends. Besides the revenue assumptions, we also make expenditure assumptions. So for STRS, the contribution is staying about the same at 19.10%. It's been the same for the last couple years. For PERS, there's a slight change. It's a decrease of 0.41% in contribution. So it brings our total to 26.41%. For the special education budget deficit, it's 21 million. And for supplemental concentration grant, it's estimated at 34.7 million. So here we have a visual of what we are projecting at the closing of the year, which is the estimated actual column, and in comparison to the budget for 26-27. For the new year, we are projecting our revenues at 150.9 million, expenditures at 191.2 million. This is going to leave us an ending fund balance of 52 million. Our reserves is remaining at 10%, which is the 19.1 million. So breaking down the general fund for 26-27, so you'll have the unrestricted column and the restricted balances. So unrestricted ending fund balance, we're estimating at 43.8 million and restricted at 8.2 million. So when building the budget, we also make our multi-year projection for 2027-28 and 28-29. Some projections that we make are enrollment, ADA, and unduplicated pupil count. For 2027-28, enrollment is estimated at 6,625. ADA is 6,253, and unduplicated pupil count is 95.94%. For 2028-29, enrollment is 6,448. ADA is 6,088. And unduplicated pupil count is 97.16%. And again, revenues is going to remain flat. And for state revenues, the LCFF COLA projected is 3.06% for 27-28 school year and 3.34% for 28-29 school year. And then here we have our projections for the multi-year projection. So you have our estimated actual, preliminary budget, and then 2 subsequent years. We use our assumptions and the information we received from the governor's workshop to make these projections to give us an idea of what the future budgets might look like. Okay, so we have several other funds, and so this slide has all the balances of each. Fund 21 and Fund 35 are 2 of our major funds that are funding our constructions that are going on right now. So the balances will change over time as those projects get completed. Some other facts to note for the adopted budget is that enrollment is projected to continue to decline. Negotiations with ATA and CSEA has already settled for 26-27, which this is the last year of the 3-year agreement. The budget is developed based on information that we have at the time, so the May revise is not the final budget, as the numbers may change before June 30th. So next steps, we have the adoption of the 26-27 budget and LCAP on June 24th, the state budget adoption on June 30th, and finally the 45-day budget revise in July through August. Any questions?
Mr. Velasquez, any questions or comments? No? Mr. Ocampo, questions or comments?
Yeah, I was curious, I was seeing on the other funds that the building fund for measure A and B, I guess next year we'll have an ending balance of 1.4 million. Do you have any projections as to when we will be spending all of this money? I mean, when the money will be totally gone for that?
For right now, we have several projects going on in painting, the roofing, and the VRB fire alarms are paid out of Fund 21 right now.
Do you sense that this fund will be available until 27-28, or possibly, or not? Or?
There will be some leftover. Some leftover money, yes. There's going to be some money left in that fund. And what we're doing is we're going to use that money for planning purposes for school 13, 14, and 15. Although we may not build those schools 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, but the planning is going on right now. We have to do some environmental analysis. We are engaging architects. We are paying some of the consulting fees. So money is being spent. So if there's any money available, we are going to use that for that planning expenditures that we are going to make.
For the new schools, so we build maybe in 5 years or 6 years or
It may be 5, 10, 15 years.
who knows?
Depending on the needs of the community, depending on the residential units that may come online, because city does have plans to build more residential units.
With,
As
yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
as those plans become active and they materialize, we may have to actually aggressively plan for the construction. Not in the near future, but yes, maybe 10 years from now or 15 years
Yeah,
from now.
don't forget the possibility of peak roofs on those new schools. I mean, there's a lot of sense to what Mr. Velasquez said the other day.
Absolutely.
I mean, keep that in mind, and if it's feasible, why not? But anyway, okay, thank you.
All right.
Just help me to understand, like, on where it's a multi-year budget projections, the reserves. So how come it goes down? So in 2025, you get 19.1, 2026, 27, 19.1. We're not dipping into the reserves, are we? Why does it go down? Just explain to me, because I don't really understand that part.
So there's a difference between fund balance and reserve, just to clarify that. Our fund balance is going down. That's a factor of how much money we have left after all the expenditures. Reserve is a percentage based on the total expenditures. So
Of the total
we are trying to
expenditure.
maintain 10% in the next year
Oh,
and
I
2
see.
years in the future.
So you're taking it from the expenditures part.
Yes, that's a factor of expenditures, a percentage factor of total expenditures. Our fund balance is going down, as you can see that it has going down from 92.3 million to 52 million to 37 million and then 30 million. So it is going down, and the reason is we are spending more money than we are getting from the state. And that is something that we have to seriously think about and contain. That can prevent the layoffs or future expenditure reductions in the future. But we are very, very mindful of that. And we constantly talk about that and analyze our expenditures on a daily basis, monthly basis, and annual basis. One thing I just want to include in saying that is this information is based on the January governor's budget proposal. We did not include the May information. In the state budgeting cycle, Governor of California presents information or proposal in the month of January. Then that information gets refined in the month of May, and then it becomes a state budget, enacted state budget. We did not have time to include the May information in this cycle. No district does, because the May revision comes very late in the picture. We are going to include that in the 45-day budget revision, and that is going to be sometime in July. Maybe the only meeting we have in the month of July is July 15th. We can bring back the information, including the new state budget information. And the promise there is that we may get additional COLA, cost of living adjustment. Governor is promising or proposing a super COLA. We are going to include that information in our budget presentation.
Okay, thank you. And I'm really surprised that the STRS didn't go up and then the PERS went down. That's an interesting concept there.
And the reason is, STRS is based on a state law. So state determines those STRS rates. PERS is different. PERS is a private entity, and that's also based on the investment returns. PERS gets all the money, they make investment, and if they have a higher return, they can translate that into a reduction in the contribution that we make. Recently, the rate of return on investment has been very promising, very good, even with everything else going on. And that's the reason PERS was able to actually translate that into a reduction into a contribution rate that we have. But again, that's a dynamic figure. It keeps on changing from one year to another. But that benefits us.
Okay, well, good. Thank you so much for this presentation.
All right. Thank
Could I
you.
ask a question?
Okay, go
If I
ahead,
could, yeah.
Mr.
I
Ocampo.
was just curious, tell me again which one is public pension and which one is a private pension?
Uh, STRS, that's a state teacher retirement system.
Okay,
So that's a state determined rate.
okay,
PERS is CalPERS.
okay. And STRS, because it's a public pension, I think, isn't there something in the law that says if the public pension runs into trouble, that they can use tax monies to prop it up or to put into the public pension, I believe.
They do not use tax money per se. The reason is because all the contributions we transfer to state, they make investment. So both are actually funded by the rate of return on the investment they have. They have billions and billions and billions of dollars to invest, both CalPERS and CalSTRS.
But the public fund is stronger because public funds are huge, I'm assuming, or
They both have different boards, so they determine how to invest those monies. They have different portfolios and different diversified portfolios to make investments and get the return back on that.
okay, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, thank you so much. Moving on to item 5, board member superintendent reports. Mrs. Anzo, do you have any reports?
Yes, I just want to say congratulations again to all the sixth graders that promoted today into the families. I attended a promotion over at Chavez Elementary. Mayor Donahue actually joined me at that promotion. And then all the other celebrations at the end of the school year. I was honored to attend yesterday the Plaza Comunitaria last session over at the Family Resource Center. So a lot of the parents and community members there speaking of their accomplishments. And we have students that come in that are working in the field, they're working hard, but they don't know how to read and write. So Plaza Comunitaria supports that effort and their hope. And I think last week or about 2 weeks ago, I attended the high school equivalency program graduation. Tomorrow's the actual graduation, but it was a closing ceremony also for them. And we have 16 moms that were able to get their high school equivalency certificate. And so they will be actually tomorrow walking the line, and they'll wear the whole outfit. And they're very excited about that. And I think for me, more than anything, it was inspiring to hear their stories and hopes. And at the end of the day, they do it for our students. They do it for their own children. So very inspiring.
Mr. Velasquez, anything? No? Mr. Ocampo?
No.
Okay, I had the pleasure of attending the 6th grade promotion ceremony at Virginia Rock Barton School this morning. It was so wonderful to celebrate with this huge milestone alongside with our students and families, and to see the excitement and pride on everyone's faces. I would like to extend my congratulations and appreciation to Principal Romero and Vice Principal Garcia and the entire school staff for their dedication and hard work in supporting our students throughout their elementary school year, as well as every other school in the district who today celebrated their 6th graders promotion day. I'm certain that your efforts helped to make this a memorable one. From the staff and the secretarial staff who were welcoming the parents, to the custodians that were out there really busy putting everything together. It was wonderful to see that. So congratulations, 6th graders. Okay, moving on to item 6, consent agenda. Before I ask for the approval of the consent agenda, I need to read this. Before we vote on the consent agenda, please note that staff is pulling consent item AD, proposal ES, construction for the construction management services for the warehouse and DO or district office annex, and consent item AE, purchase of a food service van. Staff is pulling these items from tonight's agenda to gather more information, and they will be brought back for future approval at a later date. Okay, can I get approval of the consent agenda or motion?
So move.
Mr. Ocampo, Mr. Velasquez, All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Or,
Oh,
comments or questions, anybody?
I had a question. Before I ask, I guess I should apologize that I didn't have an opportunity to read through the entire thing, unfortunately. So I apologize for that. But I really would appreciate if someone could give me just a quick summary, because I haven't looked at it, at items Q, R, and U. Just a quick summary. I mean, you don't have to do anything long, elaborate.
Yeah, that's me.
Mr. Diaz, yes.
So
Our famous Mr. Diaz.
I got you. Yeah. So GeoVision's Teacher Lounge is a recruitment partner, right? So they're the ones that help us recruit outside of our local areas when we're hard to staff, specifically for special education teachers. The item R, this is like the J1D6 exchanges, they serve as a federal authorized Department of State sponsor. So when we do find folks that are international, we need a state sponsor, and the district cannot be that state sponsor, so we need to have a partnership with them. Of course, this is when it's hard to staff, in hard to staff areas.
Right, and most of the teachers from the Philippines probably coming, do you think, or?
Lately, yes. We have been talking to our partners though, and there are in expanding areas as well. Like I know it was in Mexico and other Latin American countries were mentioned prior. So they'll be expanding their efforts moving forward as well.
There's a possibility of some teachers from Mexico.
Yes.
All right, cool. Sounds very good. And what was the other one? It was the State University, the U, yes, the U.
Oh, I don't have that. Well, my computer's not in front of me, but the Cal State Teach Program. This is also for placement of student teachers and our partnerships with Cal State universities.
Okay, thank you. And they get some kind of stipend, maybe these teachers, or?
I believe the mentors do. Yes.
Oh, mentors. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay. I'm going to call for the vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? 0. Motion passes 3-0 with 2 board members absent. Item 7, Business Services. A, public hearing on 2026-2027 fiscal year budget, open at 6:37. Okay, having none, we are going to close at 6:37. Item 7B, Information Quarterly Investment Report as of March 31st, 2026. Item 8, Educational Services. A, Public Hearing 2026-2027 Local Control Accountability Plan, opening at, once again, let's see, I'm going to call it 6:37. It's still 6:37. I'm going to say 38. Let's going to go with 38. Do we have anybody for that one? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and close that at 6:38 p.m. Moving on to item 9, Human Resources. A, action item, memorandum of understanding between LSL Union School District and LSL Teachers Association for the 2025-2026 retirement incentive. Can I get a motion to approve that? Mr. Velasquez?
Second.
Mr. Ocampo, comments or questions? No? I'm going to take the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So there's 3-0 with 2 with 2 absent. So motion passes 3-0 with 2 board members absent. Item 9B, action item, variable term waivers for 2026-2027 school year. May I get a motion?
So move.
Mr. Ocampo, may I get a second? Comments or questions? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0 with 2 board members absent. Item 9C, action item, revised job description, program manager of human resources to program manager, educator effectiveness and support. May I get a motion? Mr. Velasquez. may I get a-
Second.
Mr. Ocampo, Comments or questions?
The job descriptions are being updated to actually reflect what folks are currently doing. So this is just part of the overall process of what we've been doing in the last year or so. I just to speak a little bit more about that, when folks talk like traditional human resources roles, what this person currently does is a little bit more supporting the new teacher supports, educator effectiveness. So we just really want to highlight what that person is actually doing, because everyone thinks HR is just this nebulous roles and systems, and instead this person is actually specialized more in the new teacher support and our cultivating LSL programs. Educator effectiveness is more aligned to what they're actually doing.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Do I hear any nays? Did you say aye? Okay, great. Okay, 3-0. Motion carries with two our board members absent. Thank you so much. Okay, item D, information, new job description, program manager, preschool to third grade, P3 alignment and support, first reading.
So moved.
It's just information. Okay, item 10, administrative services. A, action item, amendment to confidential salary schedule for 2025, 2026, and 2026, 2027. May I get a motion?
So moved.
Ocampo? Can I get a second? Velasquez? Comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I did hear 3. Motion carries 3-0 with 2 of our board members absent. Item 10B, action item, second read, revised board policies, administrative regulations, and exhibit series 9000. Board bylaws included. May I get a motion? Mr. Velasquez, and a second.
Second.
Mr. Ocampo, comments, questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0 with 2 of our board members absent. Item 10C, action item, second read, revised board policy 2120, superintendent recruitment and selection. May I get a motion? Mr. Velasquez?
Second.
Mr. Ocampo, comments or questions? I'm going to call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0 with 2 of our board members absent. Item 10D, action item, second read, adopt new exhibit 92050 E2, remuneration, reimbursement, and other benefits.
So moved.
Mr. Ocampo? Mr. Velasquez, comments and questions? Calling for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. 2 board members absent. Item 10E, action item, second read, adopt new board bylaws 9320.1, remote meetings and attendance. May I get a motion?
So moved.
I think Mr. Velasquez, yeah? Did you say it first? Okay, Mr. Ocampo first and Mr. Velasquez second. Comments or questions?
I'm going to apologize again.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
So could I just get a quick summary, please, on E, por favor?
Was this the one where if a board member is absent, that we could actually zoom in from wherever we're at and our vote would still count? Something like that? I'm not sure. Mhm.
Okay, so that was changed then. So now if we're gone, we can plug in through Zoom and join the meeting and vote, basically.
Wi-
Okay, okay, sounds good.
Without
but
having
do
to
you want-
post
I
in
was gonna
front?
say something.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm trying to get to the. Mhm. There it is. Yeah, it's local, I have it up now. Thank you. So, yeah, I think it's for local emergency with a condition of extreme proclaimed by a city. So if like if you are stuck in somewhere in a flood and we have to come, that's like a local emergency, right? Local health emergency also. Remoteness is just defining everything. Let's see here. So it has to have certain reasons why, or you're ill, for some whatever reason you had an accident, you can't come in. And what else?
Do we have to post something in front of our door like it was before where we weren't going to come? We had to post a public meeting notice in front of our home
So
or wherever
this is,
we're at?
it's a new law from the state or?
Yes.
Okay, all right, okay, thank you.
So there's a list, there'll be a list of remote attendance due to just cause.
Oh, just cause. Okay.
Mhm.
Vacation, no just cause.
No.
How do we know vacation is not included in just cause? Might be. Anyway, that's something to look into.
You have to read it through, yeah.
It only says traveling while on official business of the board or another state or local agency. So for example, let's say we have a meeting and you're at a conference for a training for the board and it happens to fall on a board meeting. For example, Naleo is going to fall on July 15th. So if that's business of the board, then you can zoom in.
Okay. Very good. Okay, I'm gonna, no more comments or questions? I'm gonna call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries 3-0 with 2 board members absent. Item 11, future agenda items. A, department presentation, 2026 results on local indicators state dashboard. Director of Leadership, Mary Beal, June 24th, 2026. And B, department presentation, facilities update, Associate Superintendent Business Services, Raizo Bassi, on June 24th as well. Future meeting dates. A, regular board meeting, June 24th, July 15th, August 5th, and August 26th. I think when we were reviewing the agenda, we thought about August 5th perhaps changing it because I believe August 5th is the first day of school, but I don't know where that would fit when we'd consider rechanging it. Is that August 5th, first day of school?
Yes, it is first day of school. We can bring in a draft, like for the 24th to reflect the change, and then you vote on if you want that one.
No, when I was reviewing the agenda with Ms. Zanzo, because I knew the vice president and the president were going to be here today. Yeah, first days of school are terrible to have a meeting. Even the last days of school are terrible, just because, right? Everybody's busy doing things, so maybe we can bring that back.
Yes.
13, public comments. A, individuals wishing to address the Board of Trustees on closed session agenda items may do so at this time, starting time 6:48. Do we have any? Okay. Ending time 6:49. We will adjourn then to closed session at 6:49. And we'll take a 10-minute break, and we'll be back in closed session at 6:59. Or we could call it 7. How's 7 o'clock, okay? 7 o'clock, we'll meet you guys in there. Thank you. I'm reconvening to open session at 7:52. Item 15B. The following action was taken in closed session. Item C, on a vote of 3-0 with 2 absent, the board took action on item C to appoint Dr. Antonio Garcia as Director of Student Access and Programs for 2026, 2027. And I believe he's here tonight. All right, let's give him a round of applause for being here. On a vote of 3-0 with 2 absent, the board took action to appoint Eric Olson as Program Manager of Special Education for the 2026, 2027 school year. Is he here tonight? Okay, nice to meet you, Mr. Eric Olson. Congratulations. Item D, on a vote of 3-0 with 2 absent, the board took action to reject the claim received on or about May 7th, 2026. And with that, we're going to adjourn the meeting at 7:53. Have a wonderful summer, everybody. Thank you.